Hello, my name is Erica Renee. If you're new, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. Today I'm going to be showing you how I created this smoky eye look. If you would like to see how I did it, to recreate, or just for inspiration, go ahead and continue watching. Spend some time of today with Erica Renee. We'll discuss soul, beauty, hair, makeup, clothes, family. So come on, have fun, get ready with me. Hello. Starting on a freshly washed face, I'm going to go in with my oil-free Neutrogena moisturizer and go ahead and moisturize my face. Now that my face is all done, I'm going to go in and moisturize my lips with some cherry flavored chapstick. Now that I'm all moisturized, I'm going to go in with the spoolie and brush my eyebrows in the direction that I want them to go. And once I have them brushed correctly, I'm going to go in with my Anastasia Beverly Hills DIPBROW Pomade in the color dark brown. And to apply that, I'm going to use a thin, flat, slanted brush. To fill my eyebrows in, I first start by creating the outline on the bottom of my brow. Then I continue the outline on the top of my brow and stop in the middle. Once I get to the middle, I continue on to my tail and fill my tail in. And then I come back to the front of my eyebrow and use hair-like strokes going upward to make my eyebrow look natural. Finish filling in my eyebrows, I go back in with the spoolie and I brush through my eyebrows to make sure they're not too thick and they look natural. And now that I have my eyebrows filled in and brushed how I like them, I'm going to go in with my Fit Me Maybelline concealer in the shade Cafe number 50, and I'm going to use the applicator wand that it comes with. And I'm going to apply that under my eyebrow as well as to the top of my eyebrow in an outline just to clean it up. Now that I have the concealer applied, I go in with another thin slanted brush to blend out that concealer that I applied. And the way I blend it out is I go and I pull it downward towards my eyelid below my eyebrow, and then on the top of my eyebrow I blend it upward towards my forehead. have that blended out, I go in with my Revlon Photoready eye primer, and I apply that to my eyelids to prime them for my eyeshadow. Once I have my primer applied, I go ahead and I use my finger just to pat it dry and make sure it's sticky for the eyeshadow. Palette that I'm going to be using today is the 90 Slow Jams eyeshadow palette by Arrogant Cosmetics, and the first color I'm going to be dipping into is their black color, and it's called It Never Rains. To apply that eyeshadow, I'm going to go in with a thick blending brush because I'm covering a large space. Now that I have the black packed onto my lid, I'm going to go in with a brown shade called Weak, and I'm going to use that to blend out that black as a transition color. And I'm going to be applying that with a medium-sized fluffy blending brush. Now that I have that all blended out, I'm going to go into the color My, and I'm going to be placing that under my brow bone to make sure my eyebrows stay sharp. Now that I have all the colors that I'm going to be using on my eyes. I'm going to go in with a medium-sized blending brush, and it's clean, and I'm going to just go ahead and go over all the transitions on my eyeshadow to make sure they're not harsh lines. Next, I'm going to go into this red shimmery color called Anniversary, and I'm just going to be placing that into my inner corner with a flat eyeshadow brush just to add a pop of color and brighten my eyes. Now that I have all my eyeshadows applied and blended out, I'm going to go in with my Essence Long Lasting Eye Pencil in the color Black Fever. And I'm just going to be applying this to my lower waterline. Next, I'm going to go in with my Revlon Colorstay liquid liner in the color Black, and I'm going to apply this to my top waterline, and I'm not going to pull it out or create a wing. I'm just making sure that there is no gap in color between my lash line and my eyeshadow. Next, I'm going to go ahead and apply my false lashes. Today, I'm using my Arrogant Lashes in the style Miami Mommy. To apply those lashes, I'm going to go in with my dual lash glue in the shade Dark, and I'm just going to apply the glue onto the lash strip, and then I'll sit those down to dry before I put them on. When it's time to apply those lashes to my eye, I like to look down into a small compact mirror and pick them up with tweezers and apply those to my eyelashes. But while those are drying, I'm going to go on with my Pumped Up Colossal Volume Express, and I'm going to be applying mascara to my natural lashes. Now that my mascara is applied and enough time has passed for my glue to dry, I'm going to go ahead and apply my false lashes. that my eyes are done, it's time to move on to my face. And I'm going to go in with my Becca Evermatte Poreless Priming Perfector and apply that to my face to prep for my foundation. Now that I have my primer in place, I'm going to go in with my foundation. I use Maybelline Fit Me in number 355, which is Coconut. And this is the matte poreless foundation. And I apply that by placing the foundation on the back of my hand. And then I take a flat top foundation brush and dip that into the foundation and apply it to my face. And now that I have my foundation applied, I'm going to go in with my Elegant Cosmetics Beauty Blender and then with my Wet n Wild Photo Focus Natural Finish Setting Spray. And I'm going to go ahead and just blend out my foundation to give it a skin-like finish. And to start with that, I'm going to pick up whatever remaining product I have on the back of my hand. Now that my foundation set, I'm going to go in to highlight with my LA Girl Pro Concealer in the shade Fawn. And I'm going to be applying this in a triangle under my eyes as well as above my top lip, on my chin, down the middle of my nose, and to my forehead. Now that my highlight is set, I'm going to go in to conceal with my Black Opal True Color in the shade Agony Brown. And I'm going to apply that onto my cheekbones and then to the top of my forehead. contour are set, I'm going to go in with my Real Techniques Beauty Blender, and I'm going to spray that with my Wet n Wild setting spray, and I'm going to blend that out. Highlight, I'm going to go back in with an LA Girl Pro Concealer, this time in the shade True Beige, and I'm just going to be focusing that on the inner corners of my eyes and then slightly on the outer corners of my eyes, as well as again to the top of my lip, my chin, the bridge of my nose, and my forehead. I'm going to go back in with my Real Techniques Beauty Blender and blend that out. Now that I have my highlight and contour applied, I'm going to set my face starting with my highlight by using my Bin 9 setting powder in the color Topaz, and I'm just going to be using a foam wedge to apply that to all the areas that I highlighted. Now that I have my highlight set, I'm going to go in and set my contour with my True Complexion Contour Palette, and this is in the dark to deep, and I'm going to use the middle shade which is Sculpt. And I'm going to take a slanted fluffy brush to contour my nose, and I'm going to start at the base of my eyebrow and pull it down my nose to make my nose look longer. Now that I have my nose contoured, I'm going to go in with a just fluffy blending brush, and I'm going to be using that to set my contour on my cheekbones. Now that I have my highlight and contour set, I'm going to go in with my Fit Me Maybelline Matte and Poreless Pressed Powder in the shade 355, and I'm going to go in with a fluffy foundation brush, and I'm going to use that to set all the places that I didn't set before, and then using whatever leftover product is on the brush to blend out any harsh lines between my contour and my highlight. I'm going to apply blush using the Saharan Blush Volume 2, and I'm going to be taking the deep purple shade, which is called E, and I take a slanted fluffy brush and I apply it to the apple of my cheek and pull it up towards my temple. Now I'm going to set my face once again using my Wet n Wild Natural Finish Photo Focus setting spray, and I'm going to spray that all over my face, and then I'm going to be using my mirror to fan my face dry. But before my face dries completely, I go in with a thick highlighter brush, and I take my highlighter and I apply it to the top of my cheekbones, and I'm going to be using my Laura Geller in the shade Gilded Honey. I'm also going to be applying that highlighter to the bridge of my nose, my Cupid's bow, and the tip of my nose. The last and final step is to go in with my Arrogant Lippy, and this is in the shade Boss Up, and it's a bright red, and I'm going to apply that to my lips. this is the final look. Thanks for following along. I hope you enjoyed. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.